Hello everyone, this is Boricua Binks and welcome back to Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All. Did I say that in the last episode? Wow, I don't remember. I'm sorry, I'm getting all confused now. But anyway, yeah, welcome back. So in the last episode, after a long hiatus, I came back to recording this game. And we were starting the last part of the case, the third case of the game. We're in trial, and we need to prove that Acro is the killer. And he's very calm, though, so even when we accused him and all of that, he's just been like, it's like just rolling off of him like it didn't even touch him at all. So let's see how we can figure out how to prove it. That's the tricky part. All right. Especially since he is wheelchair bound. So it's tricky. Okay. Be careful, Nick. If you mess up here... She's right. I can't mess up here. I've got to give this one some serious thought. I'm sure that Acro killed the ringmaster. And he killed the ringmaster while he was in his room. No doubt about it.
Time to enlighten us as to how Mr. Dingling committed the crime, Mr. Wright.
I don't think we have evidence right now. Oh dear. I'm trying to remember. Do we have... Let me look in the court record. I should have looked earlier. What's this? Circus map, no. Ringmaster's papers. Money, this is autopsy. Blunt force trauma to the back of the head. What's this? Grand Prix. Is this one? Ah, okay, so we do. Okay. Alright. I just had to refresh my mind of what evidence we've got. So we actually do have evidence, so we're good. Let's present. I'm going to present some evidence.
So what did Mr. Dingling use to commit the crime of murder against Russell Berry?
Now think about this, guys. First of all, it has to be something that could cause blunt force trauma, something strong enough, hard enough to mess him up. Now this was on the ground, but it was too heavy to just use to hit him on the back of the head. But what else is big and heavy enough in our evidence and has been taken from cafeteria before the crime? This is pretty big and heavy, don't you think? So let's present this.
What's that? A picture?
And it's been missing. Nobody's seen it since, so definitely suspicious.
It is indeed. The problem is with the item that's shown in the picture. The bust.
It's quite a large bust. Here we go with the bust again. And because it is life-sized, it is also very, very heavy.
Heavy?
Heavy enough to guarantee a certain death. Especially if it was dropped from a third-story window. Man, Phoenix, you're so smart. That's so creative. I don't know how you figured that out. Uh-oh. See? This is how Acro was able to kill the ringmaster. With the force of gravity and Maximilian Galactica's ample bust. You had to use the word ample with bust, huh? Everybody stares at Max's chest. He's like, not that bust.
Order, order! So you're saying the bust fell onto the ringmaster?
A rather simple crime. Even if you were stuck in a wheelchair, it would be incredibly easy to commit. How could you possibly wheel a wheelchair with something so heavy? It's impossible.
Well, Acro is an acrobat. He should have more than enough upper body strength to carry something like the bust.
Yeah, he's buff, alright.
Mr. Dingling, how do you respond to these charges?
Look at those muscles. Sorry. Oh man, Louisa and I need to talk.
Well,
Acro's at a loss for words.
he should be. He knows that I'm getting close to the truth. Well, Acro. You can't run away. Ow!
I'd watch what I say if I were you, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
What?
I don't even know what was he saying? Something about you can't get away from me or something?
Your Honor,
The physical health of the witness is material to this case. I demand that we get proper testimony from the witness himself.
Testimony, you say? Von Karma. She's just using this testimony as a ruse to stall for time. There is absolutely no need for such testimony.
The defense has its version of the murder. The prosecution has the right to respond.
The defense's objection is overruled. Why can't he see things my way once in a while? Mr. Dingling, I'm sorry, but we need you to testify about your physical condition. Why do I always yawn when I do your voice, Judge?
Excuse me.
If you have any doubts about your ability to testify, we can request expert testimony.
The witness will have no problems. However, let's all be respectful towards him.
Thank you. Ugh, that woman will sink to any load to win a case.
Well, Mo did mention limbo. How low can you go? Alright, Acro's physical state.
I suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bust. I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat, and only my legs were injured. However, lifting the bust and looking out of the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the ringmaster's head. Thus, it would be unrealistic for me to drop the bust on him, don't you think?
Well, he's thought this through.
I have no doubts in regards to this witness's testimony.
It was impossible.
See?
The judge's voice does it to me every time. It was impossible for him to lift the bust and carry it over to the window. Not to mention that he could not have known the location of the ringmaster's head. A single false step would have led to even more severe injuries.
That's what I was thinking. What is your opinion on the matter, Mr. Wright?
I'd still like to proceed with my cross-examination. He's simply stalling. It's shameful, really.
I can't let her get to me. I've got to focus. Focus, Phoenix, focus.
All right. All right. Force makes it impossible to do the location of the ringmaster's head. Plus, it would be unrealistic for me to drop it, don't you think? Are you sure? I mean, I'm not so sure about that. Yeah, this is actually kind of tricky. I already know the answer because I've played this before. But if you don't, you have to realize, think about the scene of the crime. Where is it? Is it this one? Here it is. Look at the scene of the crime. Everybody's been wondering what's up with the box, right? What is the purpose of it being there? And all it had in it was that little pepper, and yet it was so heavy. It's just weird, right? So, honestly, if you think about it, I mean, this box, the victim was hunched over. Yeah, I think kind of like a treasure map. X marks the spot, you know? If you plan it out carefully, I think you can do almost anything. So let's present this here.
Acro, you didn't really need to lean out of the window, did you? What are you driving at, Mr. Wright? You already knew ahead of time where the ringmaster's head was going to be. Quite precisely, I may add.
It's so ingenious, really. Really. Really smart. Sometimes the killers in these games, I'm like, wow, very detailed plans and all that. It's impressive. But Phoenix is a genius somehow, or other times Mia's the genius and she helps him. But he's doing this one on his own, so I give him props for that.
Your silly hinting at things is pointless, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Enough stalling. How about you show us some evidence?
But I did such a good job at hinting.
Yes, yes, yes. Hurry up and explain things, Mr. Wright.
Maybe you should take a look at this.
I was debating which one I needed to show. It looks like I could have shown that one.
The key point here is the wooden box.
The same wooden box that the victim was hunched over.
The same. The question is, who placed the wooden box here?
Who?
When Ben and company saw the ringmaster, they didn't see him holding the box. Which means that this wooden box was already placed at the scene of the crime. Or at the crime scene, I don't know why they did it that way. Scene crime.
I have to admit that your theory makes a lot of sense.
The moment that the bust came falling down was exactly the same moment that the ringmaster lifted up this wooden box. Which means that the answer to all these questions is now crystal clear.
You mean...
If the bust were to fall upon the point marked out by the wooden box,
there would be no way that it could miss the head of the victim.
Really?
Yes, really. Oh boy, this poor ringmaster.
Order, order, order! This is unbelievable!
Finally, some of these loose ends are starting to tie themselves up. Now I just gotta keep going, and there's only one way to go from here. Forward.
So the next question I have is who placed that wooden box at the scene?
It was Mr. Dingling, of course. He connected it to a rope, and then all he had to do was lower it down.
Ow! Allow me to whip some sense into you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Ow, 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 ow! The ringmaster's head could have been anywhere when he lifted the box.
That's why the box was so specially made.
Specially made?
Indeed. Stop whipping me, witch. It had the most peculiar feature.
That would be the... Well, the contents are weird, but it's so heavy. That box is really heavy considering what's in it.
The box has a remarkable weight.
Wait.
Yes, weight.
According to the court record, it weighs 20 pounds.
Just to lift up this wooden box would have required...
Oh, I see. One would have to squat down, then lift it up with their body, wouldn't you say?
That's exactly what I was trying to point out. The box is also very large.
The box also has carrying handles on either side, doesn't it?
That is correct. Judge, you're doing so well. I'm so proud of you. Oh, oh he's so adorable. To lift up the box, you'd have to squat down. Which means that no matter who you are, your head would be in approximately the same place. Fool! Yeah, you're the fool. Oh dear. He's still calm. Does she even bother to listen to me? She? You mean he? Does he even bother to listen to me anymore?
I've heard what you've had to say. I must admit, I'm shocked at your imaginative skills.
Did you drop it? Did you drop the bust onto the ringmaster?
What are you talking about? Even if I had wanted to do such a thing, I couldn't.
What?
Mr. Wright, do you recall the original location of this bust?
Yeah, I remember. Of course I remember. It was on top of the table in the cafeteria.
Then what happened to it?
I'd like you to remember one important fact, Mr. Wright. I could not possibly leave the lodging house by myself.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Ah, that means...
You understand what I mean, don't you? I may very well have been able to drop the bust from my room. However, how would I have gotten the bust from the cafeteria to my room?
Smart man.
You see, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Explain that. Don't forget, you said there was no accomplice.
Ugh!
Tell us exactly how the witness could have carried the bust from the cafeteria.
Yep, we definitely have a problem here.
Don't worry, I know the solution.
But this is no place to get perplexed. I've got to get my wits about me and prove how things happen once and for all. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know how I got through this the first time playing this game. Oh no, it might have been spoiled for me because I watched Pharaoh play it. But yeah, anybody playing this game the first time, they would be so stuck with this. Like, you really have to think outside the box with some of these little dilemmas. Huh. Excuse me.
All right, Mr. Wright. Let's hear your explanation. How did the witness get the bust from the cafeteria back to his room?
Well, this one you really gotta think. I mean, it's kind of weird because in my mind I'm imagining that he's very small. But I don't think he's as small as I thought because he has a habit of gathering shiny objects and that thing is heavy as heck. But maybe, just maybe, he brought it to Acro's room. And you saw Acro's room with all that stuff in it, so yeah, some pretty big stuff in there too.
A monkey?
Everyone knows money. He loves shiny objects of any size.
For instance, he stole the ventriloquist's ring.
So, are you saying the witness had a monkey steal the bust?
Of course he didn't order the monkey to steal it. The monkey stole it on his own and then brought it back home. He's like, oh crap, he figured that out.
Home?
Money lives in Acro's room.
Acro's room!
But the bust was bronze, wasn't it? Bronze isn't all that shiny.
It doesn't look bronze in our picture, but okay. Maybe you should put the whip down sometimes and read the court record. Oh, snap, what a burn. She gonna whip you for that. Look at that. Shiny, shiny.
My, those are some very nice cards he's holding.
Yes, and they are made of platinum, which is very shiny. Ah! Ah! Acro. Money is a strong monkey, right? It'd be easy for him to bring the bust back to your room.
If he wasn't able to handle that himself, I'd be on the market for a new roommate.
Order, order! I said order! Miss Von Karma! Where is the bust in question at this moment?
I don't know.
Wow, she's confused. I've never seen her like that.
We're searching for it as we speak.
This is a strange turn of events. If that monkey did not steal the bust, then what happens to this case?
Well, in that event, something else must have been used as the murder weapon.
Well, Or maybe this bust was the murder weapon, but it was used by accident?
That's possible. Maybe Acro saw Money's mountain of stolen goods and thought to use one of them. Yep, look at that. Anyways, I think we've more than proven one critical fact. Namely, that it was entirely possible that Acro was the murderer. Moron! I always wonder when she's insulting, is she insulting herself? or probably Phoenix, but still.
Mr. Wright's argument was so circular I'm still a bit dizzy. However, his argument does hold water. There's no denying that. Ow!
Don't seem so flamboozled, especially by this fraud of an attorney.
Fraud?
You've forgotten the absolute most important thing, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
And what is that?
You should know. You forgot that your fraud of a magical client was spotted at the scene of the crime.
Ah!
There is no reason to doubt the clown's testimony.
That's true. How do you respond to that, Mr. Wright?
Nick, don't let her beat you now.
I won't. This is my chance to turn this trial around. This is the perfect time to do this. Yep. Gonna have to leave this episode right here because we are almost done with this case, guys. We are really, really making progress now. Alright, so thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this. If you are, please leave a like, a comment, maybe even subscribe. You never know what kind of content I might have for this channel in the future. Anyway, so thanks again. Hope you're having a nice day. And until next time, bye-bye.